1982 called Yar's Revenge. I absolutely love this game. It's so iconic, it's so ominous and surreal. I really like it. I'm a huge fan. Sure enough, they gave ol' Yar's Revenge the reboot treatment, and it went about as well as you would expect. The 2011 reboot is just called Yar's Revenge. It has this goofy anime art style, and it tries its best to make you care about the story, but as soon as I got into the gameplay and realized they turned it into a rail shooter with some of the most awkward controls ever made and graphics coming straight from Halo 1, I realized this game did nothing to earn its namesake, so I turned it off. But of course, they couldn't leave it alone. In 2022, they released Yar's Recharged, which is pretty okay. It's more recognizable, but the game's a bit buggy. The sounds break a lot. It's a bit content barren, but for $10, it's fine. I feel like they didn't get a good balance with the complexity here. Like, I don't think Yar's Revenge makes sense as a bullet hell game, so I didn't love this one. Also, in 2022, they released Yar's Revenge Enhanced, which is the exact same as the Atari game, but with new graphics and music. It was included in Atari 50, which is actually pretty good, but I think they'd need to go for a presentation overhaul if they want this new old game concept to stand on its own. If they did something similar to Space Invaders Extreme, I think Yar's Revenge Enhanced would be sick. But in this state, it feels very superficial and it just makes me want to go play the Atari game. And then in 2024, they announced Yar's Rising, a colorful future punk Metroidvania reimagining, which seemed exactly aligned with my taste, and you better believe I was counting down the days. They released some of the soundtrack before the game came out, and I was banging my head. The music was amazing, and so much of the art was stunningly beautiful, and the game was made by WayForward, who I really like. They did Shantae, SpongeBob SquigglePants, Mighty Switch Force, Adventure Time Hey Ice King. Those games are peak. And when Yar's Rising came out, I put like 3 hours into it. It's really bad. It's the most uninspired Metroidvania I have ever seen. The dialogue is awful. I hate these characters.
Shrug? Hey, while you're there, can you grab me some wasabi maple chips? Your boy is starving!
I found this huge rainbow-colored console that rewrote my DNA, I guess. And now my hands shoot energy waves.
The level design is bland, it's extremely linear, there's no sense of exploration at all, and the constant loading screens drove me absolutely insane. And where the Yar's Revenge part comes in is in these little hacking minigames where you stop playing the game and you start playing Atari for a minute, and then you go back to the game. Like, it's cool in theory, but it doesn't add anything for me. It feels inconsequential. I'd rather just turn the game off and play Atari. Can Atari do literally anything right? No. They rebooted Bubsy. If you don't know about Bubsy, he's a stupid cartoon bobcat from the 90s, and I love him more than I love myself. In 2017, Bubsy the Woolies Strike Back was released into the world. It's a reimagined platformer featuring Bubsy. Now, wait a minute. I thought we were talking about Atari. That says Accolade. Accolade was the company that made Bubsy back in the day, and then they got acquired by Infogrames in 1999, and then Infogrames became a subsidiary of Atari. So they have the legal right to use the name Accolade, but it's still Atari. And I'm sure you would have never guessed, but Woolies Strike Back is yet another one of Atari's creatively bankrupt shovelware escapades. Not a single shred of passion or enthusiasm was involved in the process of making this game. A lot of people cite Bubsy 3D as one of the worst video games ever made, and they're probably right, but that metric doesn't really mean anything to me. What I do know is Bubsy 3D is bizarre and esoteric and experimental in a way that makes it truly one of a kind, whereas Woolies Strike Back looks like it was made using a Unity game dev tutorial on YouTube. If I had to pick between something earnest like Bubsy 3D and the shovelware slop that Atari puts out, I will pick Bubsy 3D every single time. They made another one in 2019 called Bubsy Paws on Fire, and Atari actually put their name on this one. But the weird part is, it doesn't have anything to do with Bubsy. It's just a generic auto runner game with Bubsy assets dropped in, and it costs $25. Once again, who is this for? The only people that would enjoy a game this simple are kids, but kids don't care about Bubsy. Bubsy is from 1993 and was never popular outside of infamy. I'm sure for a lot of you, this might even be your first time hearing about him, in which case you're welcome. All right, shifting gears. Back in 1982, Atari made a game called Food Fight. It was an arcade game that I liked a lot as a kid. I always thought the animation of eating the ice cream was super funny. In mid-2024, Atari rebooted it. They called it Food Fight Culinary Combat. It's an online third-person shooter where you throw food at people, clearly trying to play off of the popularity of Fortnite and Splatoon. Of course, this game feels like a mobile game ad, but again, I have to ask, who is this even for? People that remember the 80s arcade game? Because it seems like they're aiming at kids who definitely won't know or care about the property it's based on. Now, I bought the game. It was $15. And honestly, it's all right. It has a bunch of game modes. The hub world has some fun detail to it. It felt reasonably polished. Out of order. Out of order. Out of order. This is just like going to Dave & Buster's. But even before I bought the game, I saw that it had like 40 reviews on Steam. And I was like, oh, the servers are definitely going to be empty. And for a game that seems to have a focus on online play, that's a bit of a problem. So I opened it up on a peak Friday night, went to the matchmaking, and there was not a single other person online. So I pulled up the concurrent player history. This game is not even a year old. It launched in July 2024. It peaked with 12 like a month later, and then it's been 1 to 3 people since then. This game has never had a full lobby of players, not one single time, since the game released. And I felt silly for expecting anything but disappointment from Food Fight Culinary Combat. I feel like I've made my point. Atari keeps releasing shovelware slop video games that either no one cares about or no one likes, and you can't even give them credit for